Alright, today we're looking at a silver support mod. Okay, so first of all, what happens to your Reinhardt? He's full health. Oh, he got booped into the Junkrats. That's really unlucky. Alright, so here, you throw an invulnerable... You throw your E out. But, like... Why? Like, there's... Your Rein just died. You're pretty much full health. Your Lucio's full health. Your Roadhog's full health. So you're all full health, and there's not really anything the enemy team can do to burst you down necessarily. I mean, I guess a Hanzo, maybe. But you're not really in any danger right now, even though you just lost your Reinhardt. They lost their Junkrat, so a big part of their spam damage is gone now. And your Reinhardt's going to be back soon. So there's really no need to use your field here. You can just save it, hide around, like... Oh. You can hide over here, like behind this wall here. Just like stand where the Roadhog is, like here, or behind the Roadhog even. And then you can pump heals into them, so you're getting ult charge by doing that. And you're just staying safe. You're waiting for your Reinhardt to get back, and then because he's gonna get back faster than the Junkrat, right? And then you guys can go in, and for the first part of the fight, you'll be fighting 6v5. You'll be fighting up a man, which is pretty good. You should win those usually, but even if you do use your field here, you throw it. So you end up throwing your field like right here, and it floats up, you know, and it's like right over here, right? Everyone on the enemy team can basically see that. It's right in the choke. What you could have done, if you wanted to throw it, which you probably shouldn't have, because you could have saved it for later when you actually needed it. You could have thrown it here, and then, because it's a wide area, right? So it's like, I don't know, let's say it's that much. That's in the field. So you can now stand in the choke and still shoot with the field without having to worry about your field being broken. Because then the only people who can see it is the ball, who's over here. No one else can see it because it's behind a corner. That's if you wanted to use it there, which is not a good idea. But, so you throw it there, and then you walk to, like, I guess you get booped, I think. Yeah, you get booped by the other, but, so basically, you use it, and then you walk forward a bit. There's really no need to walk forward, at all. Yes, you're invulnerable, but you're still going to be left with 40 health after it's gone, and it could be gone at the end of its timer, or it can be gone sooner. Most likely it's going to be gone sooner because people are going to be most likely, hopefully, shooting it. Not hopefully for you, but hopefully for them. But another thing, you're just shooting the D.Va, right? And the D.Va has a really big hitbox, so you can be further back. You can be safer, still in the field, further back, and you can still be shooting at the D.Va. And when you do that, you'll be cutting off sightlines from, like, the Mora here, because then you'll be, like, further back, so then they have to extend more forward-ish to see you. That was kind of a weird explanation, but yeah. So you only want to, so you want to be using your field to it's better to think of your field instead of like a invulnerability field, even though that's what it is. It's better to think of it as like a Zarya bubble, or like a mini Lucio beat, sort of. Lucio ult, because you want to be using it when you're about to receive like a bunch of burst damage, and then you can plop that down and you can protect your team at the last second, right? Because the longer the field is out, the higher the chances of it being destroyed are, right? So you want to throw it out as late as possible to get the most value of it, right? For example, if there's a D.Va bomb Like if the enemy diva throws a bomb at your team, you want to throw out the field at the very last second so that you can guarantee that your field does not get broken by anything else but the diva bomb. So you can guarantee that your team stays alive. Like similar idea with Lucio beat, right? You want to use it at the last second as possible so you can get the most health out of it. It's slightly different, but that's the general idea, right? That's one way, and probably the main way you'll see like Overwatch League people use it, and that's probably the best way to use it. But then there's also the way that you're using it, in which case you're using it to basically stay alive long enough so that you can poke. Now usually when you're doing it this way, most BAPs will have their ult in front of them. That's when they do it this way. That way they can guarantee that they get value out of their ult. And whenever they do, like I said earlier, they put it behind a wall, around a corner, so that you can still stand in the field and so that you can be in the line of sight of the field, but then the enemy cannot see it, so they can't break it. So long story short, save the field if you can for important moments. If you still want to use it, that's fine, especially in the lower elos. But throw it around obstacles and walls and corners and stuff. Map geometry so that the enemy team can't break it. So like here you see your Reinhardt's critical, and as soon as you see that, you could throw out your field and you can save his life. That's another way to use field, right? To save people's lives. Because you don't, and had you thrown it there instead of shooting those 2 shots, you would have been able to save your Reinhardt's life. Because then he would be invulnerable, and hopefully he would stay in the field long enough for you to heal him up again. Get close enough to use your shift and, spend time pumping right clicks into him. Whoops. Instead you let him die, which, that was your Ryan, right? Yeah, that's your Ryan. He gets critical. Yep. You could have saved him. So yeah, like, you guys still win though, thankfully. But are you playing with a controller? Maybe. I don't know. It looked so weird. Anyway, doesn't matter. The idea is the same, right? So now, no one's pushing your cart right now. Between you and Lucio, generally it should be the Baptiste who's on cart, because he's ranged healing, and Lucio is like around him. He's close range healing. So usually the Bap is on the cart, but it's just a tiny nitpick issue. It doesn't matter too much. Okay, so cooldown management is a very, very important skill to learn in Overwatch that a lot of players in general just don't until you get to like GM, honestly. Like even in Masters, there's still people who just waste cooldowns constantly. Now, Overwatch is like, yes, it's a shooter, but it's also a game of value, sort of. Like you want to get you're most effective on your hero when you get the most value out of your abilities. Now, value is kind of like a very broad blanket term, right? But you want to, you don't ever want to waste cooldowns if you can avoid it. And here, your Lucio's right next to you, full health. Your Reinhardt was full health. You are full health, and you just randomly, your Reaper is also full health, and then you just randomly press shift for honestly no reason, right? And because you do that, you don't have it now when you, well, I guess you didn't really need it then, but like that was a good frisbee though. But so now you can be using shift to heal yourself up while you're chasing the Hanzo. But earlier, literally everyone around you was full health. Like a couple weeks ago now maybe, I reviewed another Baptiste, He was Masters. And he also just used his shift randomly when everyone around him was pretty much at full health, including him. And so, you know, it's not just you. But definitely try to, like, put more conscious thought into using your shift instead of just being like, oh, it's off cooldown, I can use it now. I'm just going to press shift and use my heal. Yes, you can do that, but it's better to save it for when you absolutely need it. Same with your E. Like when you used it to save your team from Dragon, that was good. Basically, long story short, put more conscious thought into your cooldown usage. Like, should I use it here? Do I really need it? That shift usage was probably okay because you were low on health, right? You were about half health, and it's okay to use it for yourself when your other healer isn't there. So that your Lucio just kind of blew his ult. No one was there except for you and him, so that's kind of unfortunate. But that's not your fault. So here, that's a good field also. And good healing, too, to heal yourself. So, you're not using your healing at all. Your Rein is critical, and then I assume what you're doing is you're spamming E. You're like, E. I want to throw out my invulnerability field, and you're like, oh, what's happening? Oh, it's on cooldown still, and you just wait a little bit, and then you throw it out, right? But while you're waiting, you can still be holding down right click. With Bap, you can hold down actually both left click and right click. Like you can alternate. Like there's like a short like cooldown period when he shoots. It's like boom, and then wait, and then boom, and then boom, right? During that boop, you can do the with his left click, right? So if you're not comfortable mechanically to do that, that's fine. But it's a thing that you can consider doing, especially in the earlier parts of a team fight where you're just like healing your team and trying to break a shield or something like that. You can just right click, literally just hold down right click and left click, and then it'll heal your team and then shoot, right? So you look up to shoot the shield, look down to your team, look up, stuff like that. But definitely want to be healing your team whenever possible. So like there, you could have been looking up at the Pharah and then looking down to heal, looking up. That's a lot harder to do though. So if you're not comfortable mechanically, you don't have to do that. But if you're not comfortable mechanically to alternate, then try to focus more on healing and less on dealing damage. And even though you can deal damage, it's more valuable for your team, especially now that it's 2-2-2 meta, to heal, because then you're only one of two healers instead of like one of three. But whenever possible, you know, if you're pressing E and your ability is not happening, you can, you know, quickly glance down to the bottom right and see where your cooldown's at. What I'll do is I'll look, like when that happens, I'll be like, okay, 3 seconds left, and I'll count down in my head 3 seconds while doing other things, and then throw it down, right? So here you could definitely be holding down right click. You do use your shift, which is good, but you could have definitely been healing as well. Thankfully, your Rein doesn't die, but like by the time you actually threw down your field, if you had just been healing him, he probably would have been back to full already. Like that's a good, you know, 1 or 2 seconds where you're not doing anything but looking at the ground waiting for your invulnerability to come up when you could have been healing him. So just things to think about. So again, your Rein was low. You do heal him though, that's good. Rein's low again. Good. That was super risky at the Rein. There's not really much you could have done there. No one was in range of your shift. You kind of just used it because you can. Your Roadhog's full health. You're full health. Reaper's wraithing, so you could just one right click and he'd be up to full. It's better. No need to use that there. It's better to save it so that you can use it later. That's a good field. You saw your Ryan charge in, and you threw out a field to help protect him. That's just unfortunate. It was a good field, but they saw that the field went out and they grab dragoned you, and you had nothing to do, nothing again to counter it. That's not your fault. So your Reaper's right next to you now, super low. But your Reaper's critical over there. He teleports right here. He's still critical. So you can turn around and heal him up a bit. That's okay. That's just unlucky. If you do want to get better at playing BAP, I recommend just like going down into like just like a custom lobby. Give yourself like infinite ult charge sort of, and just practice like flicking down with your ult. Like you kind of, because it took you so long to ult, your Rhine died because you weren't able to heal him, right? So he's critical now, and you decide to use your ult, which is fine. If you place it down literally right then and go back to healing, it's fine. You can keep him up. But the problem is you take like just that half a second. If you could have done that like a quarter of a second faster, just like flick down, place it, and then go back to healing, or heal your Rhine up first and then place it down. It's just little things like that. That's sorry, yeah. But yeah, it's just little things like that. That's that you can improve on. And granted, that may be harder to do on a controller. Okay, so another thing. Your team has definitely lost the fight by now. By the time, like, your Reaper spamming, I need healing in your backline, but okay. So your Lucio ults, you ult. You're actually even right now, actually. So the fight's not lost yet. You lost your Reinhardt, they lost their Zarya, so it's actually even. You're down a tank, they're down a tank. So it's winnable, especially since your Lucio just ulted, and you just ulted. However, the Pharah just ulted. Now, an ulting Pharah is an extremely easy target to shoot. So you definitely try to like focus the Pharah, and then maybe you can kill her, but you don't, and that's fine. You're still fighting it out, but then BAP ults and you lose your Lucio. At this point, the fight's definitely lost. Your Reaper's still spamming I need healing behind you. You should just get out or die, or else you're just staggering yourself. And that does happen here, right? Because now Ryan's back, but you lost your Lucio, your Roadhog, and your Reaper. Lucio's on his way back. Roadhog and Reaper just now respawned, but you're still going for another fight. So another thing, whenever people jump in Overwatch, especially when it's a very long jump, like a straight vertical jump, it's very, very easy to hit, because you can't really move to the right or to the left very much. So you really only have to look up and down. So especially in higher elos where the DPS are more mechanically skilled, doing that jump, trying to kill the Hanzo is super risky. And like, you pretty much were not, you basically weren't even moving to the Hanzo. Like, you just jumped straight up and you kind of just float there for a second and then fall down, right? And he just shot you while you're floating. That's an incredibly easy shot. So try not to use your jump like that. Like, if he was extremely low, like one hit, then maybe you can do that and try to get away with it. But you don't want to be doing that when, like, it's not your job to do that. You can tell your Reaper or your Soldier or your Hog or Lucio even. But It's not your job to duel a Hanzo. Not when he's like over 50% health. You could have thrown down a field and then try to duel him that way. But, you know, that's kind of a waste of the field. Just tell your Ryan or tell your team or something. Well, no, it's not really a waste of a field if you can poke him away, but... So, you're down 2 again. You should be telling, at this point, you should be telling your team, hey, we're down 2, we're not going to win this fight, back out. Normally, that's like the support's job. Like, anyone can say we're losing, back out, right? But it's really easy for a support to tell when a fight's been lost because they're in the back usually. They're in the back and they can see, like, the entire fight, right? They can see people die, and then, you know, you can call it out when it happens. But then, so this is another problem with lower elos. People keep staggering in and keep just going in and dying. So you definitely want to, if you can, if you have a mic. If not, then like spam group up or something. I don't know. Try to get your team to not constantly stagger in and feed, because can you win 4v6? Yeah, looks like you guys might be winning 4v6 right now, but will it happen most of the time? Probably not. You know, your hog got really lucky or is really good and got 2 picks. Another thing, Baptiste is a ranged healer, so you can stay right here and you can see everyone, and all you have to do, you know, maybe move left a bit, move right a bit. You can see everyone, you can heal everyone up. You're putting yourself into the, like, okay, if you want to get close to use your shift, that's fine. Get close to use your shift and then back out, because you don't, as soon as you press shift, it's activated. You don't have to be next to them anymore. They can go as far away as you want. They still get the healing over time. Yeah, trying to go in and duel a Zarya, like, your Reaper dies because you were trying to shoot the Zarya instead of healing him. If you were like where the soldier is right now, you could have healed up the Reaper, and then he would have been able to kill the Zarya, because it's very easy for Reaper to kill Zarya, especially after she's used her bubbles, right? So definitely try to, like, stay in the back more as Baptiste. You don't always have to be in the thick of things. Like, obviously, if you want to use your shift, that's fine, but I mean, you still managed to cap it, so that's good. That shift could have been better, maybe. And left shift is your healing aura, I guess, since you play on controller. So here would be a good time, yeah, because everyone was low. Again, it's not your job to duel Hanzo, and he's gonna win that duel most of the time. So I would just not. It's not worth your life to duel a Hanzo. Oh, that's fine. Your Ryan kind of just overextended there. That's, fight loss isn't really your fault. Another thing I am noticing though is you're reloading a lot when you don't have to. Like, here, we'll just go back here. So you reload when you have 9 bullets still left. And there you shoot instead of healing your hog. So there you reloaded when you're at 11. out of 12. You literally shoot one, shoot left click twice, and you reload again. There's no need to reload there. You still have 11 shots of that and 39 of that. So it, you know, there's nothing else you could have been doing at this specific point in time. But wait, did you reload again? You literally shot one and then reloaded again. And because of that, Reinhardt gets really low, or gets half health. So, and I noticed that, you know, throughout this match, that you kind of just reload a lot. Like there, you reloaded when you're at 30 out of 45, and it's still 12 if you're... Of course, would you not reloading have saved you that point? Probably not, but it's just a good thing to look out for. Like, it's... You might not think it matters that much, right? Like, okay, I lose like 1 second, but Overwatch is a fast-paced game. 1 second is a lot of time. More often than not, it's a lot of time. So, again, you reload 11 out of 12. It's not a huge deal, right? But it's definitely things to look out for. I won't mention it anymore because it's, you know, I've said it once. I'm sure you can notice it in your own gameplay. So here you can throw down a field. That was good. You threw it down a field and you ulted for him too. But the problem with that field, it's like broken almost instantly, because again, you threw out your field like over here, right? And so the field was here. What would have been better is if you threw it here, right? And then the field still is like this area, big area for a hog to sit in, and then they wouldn't be able to destroy this field because they can't see it because it's around the corner for them, the enemy team, that is. So, you know, things to look out for again. It was a nice kill. Unnecessary beat from your Lucio, but that's just how it's gonna be. So again, you throw it out in the open, and they can destroy it pretty easily, right? Whereas, if you had thrown it around this corner right here, right behind here, it would have still been pretty much the same effect instead of like over here. It wouldn't reach inside, but then the Rhine can walk outside and he'd be in the effect, right? And then since he's invulnerable, he doesn't really have to worry about taking damage. So definitely invulnerability placements is something that you should work on. So I assume what you're doing there is you're looking for, like, you're trying to throw your E out for your Reinhardt. That's why you're just looking at the Roadhog, not doing anything, right? But, okay. You can still hold down right click while looking at the Reinhardt, because then, especially with the Roadhog in front of you, it'll still, like, it'll break on the Roadhog and it'll still heal the Roadhog, right? Another thing, I've already mentioned it before, but we're just reloading. I said I wasn't going to, but you literally shoot once and you reload when your Roadhog's half health. You can just keep shooting, keep him up, right? Because now he gets critical and then he ends up maybe dying. You reload again. And because of that, your Roadhog ends up dying because you spent your time reloading instead of healing him. It's okay to let your clip run down to 0 before reloading. And here you go completely out of your way to help your Torbjorn instead of helping your Reaper and your Lucio on point. So that's fine though. So here you should definitely go and die on point. That might be like, I don't know if you've watched Overwatch League at all, or that might be like a foreign concept, dying on point. Why would I go purposely die? I'm just feeding you, right? Yes, you are, but it's for a good cause. Because then it keeps the cart from moving. So then by the time your entire team respawns and regroups, it still hasn't gotten that much progress because you've stalled the point long enough that it's just stayed there. And the reason why it would have been a good idea to die on point right now is because the cart's going to end up rolling over here, and then it's going to come over here and go to where your hog is, right? And the entire enemy team is over here with the cart right now. They're going to be pushed up to here about by the time you end up walking over here. So you're basically walking out in front of the entire enemy team, and then they're going to be able to kill you because it's 6v1 pretty much. Even with your field, they can break it pretty easily because it's pretty open out there. There's really no corners to throw it behind, and even then you're only alive for however long invulnerability is alive for, and then you'll die. And then you're completely staggered because then your entire team is back, but then you are not back. So what you should do, I guess. Let's see if you actually end up dying. Your hog ults them all back, and you're able to stay alive because they don't break the field, which is good. But that could have gone a lot worse for you, right? Hog still dies. Reaper's gonna die. Your entire team's just staggering in now one by one, and you lose the point. So if you died on point there, maybe you could have gotten a regroup in, although I don't know. Maybe not with the way your team's been playing. But again, constant reloading when you don't need to. That was a good healing aura, because you had more than one person who was low. One thing you can do when you have Reaper on your team who has ult is you can try to coordinate with them. It's like, Reaper, let me know when you're gonna ult so I can throw a field at you, and then hopefully the Reaper will be like, okay, I'm gonna ult 3, 2, 1, and you can throw out a field and help them. That wasn't really your fault though. So that field there, yes, the soldier ulted, but your Reinhardt also held up his shield, and soldier can't really do anything. Like, he can't shoot through shield, so it's okay to hold it until your Reinhardt shield breaks, and then throw it down, right? But it's not that big a deal, honestly. But looks like that's about the end of this. So things to work on, yeah, definitely this is one of them. There's no need to take so long to ult. If you misplace it, you know, it's okay. It's a very, very fast charging ult. Like, Bap's ult is incredibly fast to get. So don't worry if you, like, maybe could have been doing something better. Definitely the reloading thing. Focus, like, put more conscious thought into reloading. Like, actually physically look at your ammo. It's like, do I really need to reload if I've only shot one shot, or can I keep healing? Shift your healing aura. Try to use it again. Put more conscious thought into using it. Like, try to use it when you have more than one person low. That's low, or when you yourself are low and your healer isn't anywhere in range to heal you. Your invulnerability. Try to put it around corners and map geometry, out of line of sight of the enemy team, but still in line of sight of your team, so that you can get the benefits of it without having to worry about it breaking. You're not always going to be able to do it. Sometimes you are just going to have to throw it out in the open. That's okay. Try to stay in the back more. Like, you're a ranged healer, so there's really no reason to be right next to your tanks brawling it out, except for occasionally to use your shift, your healing aura, right? But that's still got a certain amount of, like, a little bit of range to it, so you can just, you know, when you need to use it, walk forward just a bit, use it, and then back up again. Try not to stagger yourself as much, although that's more of like a team thing, so that's not really anything you yourself can personally do besides try to, like, communicate and be like, hey, let's not stagger, let's group up before going in. I believe that's about everything. I tried to keep it as just like focused on just the main problems that I saw. There are also, like, I can go into much more detail about everything. If you would like that, please let me know. I can make another video that's more in depth if you want, or you can send me another VOD. I can look at it. But hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please let me know. If it wasn't, please let me know. I'm just trying to get better at this VOD reviewing stuff as well. So, thank you and have a good day.